Good morning, everybody. This is Bob from Trade Genius. It's the 30th of September, and this is the first of a number of weekend reports I'm going to do today. And I'm going to start off. This is all about the futures, and it always kind of helps me kind of get perspective for the week ahead. And actually, last week was a pretty classic week. If you look at it here, we drove down on Monday. And like I said, we're more of a neutral stance now than a bull stance until some other things change, either to the bull side or to the bear side, and I'll point those out when those occur. And then we had turnaround Tuesday, we had follow through Wednesday, we had Thursday, which was slight pullback, and then Friday was a ramp job. And I think this wouldn't have been nearly as much if it wasn't quarter end. I was thinking we'd probably end up closer to here, but it kind of pushed it all the way through. And now we're at the top of the range again, and this is just volatility bands, but it usually contains the price pretty well. And so these will change by Sunday night a little bit, Monday, but my expectation is that we should pull back down before they assault the new highs again. And this is the point of control here. So my expectations for going into next week, we should have a pullback, and then I think they're going to try to make a run to new highs before the start of the earnings season. That's just my speculation. Okay, I'm going to flip over to onto the energy side now. Start off with gasoline. Gasoline now is at the bottom of its range here, and like I've been telling people that this is still reverbing from the hurricanes that we had and refineries being shut down. We're going into a bit of a slower season, and if you can see here, we settled right on the bottom of that volatility. We settled at the bottom of this is 1 month high low. So I look back 20 days on this, and so now my expectation is, at least short term, we may bounce back up to this area here, and I still think we're going to keep falling down. We have UGA puts 28 strike for October, and my expectation is that those will go in the money, and so we'll just have to wait and see. But we could get a bounce off of this move right here, but the long-term stochastic is embedded down now, and I just think people are looking to sell versus looking to buy. And then switching over to NG. Okay, natural gas is on a little bit different trajectory in my view, and I went ahead and I have a couple contracts long on it, and I'll probably add to it once it breaks up over the point of control here. And we're kind of neutral in the range, but I'm definitely looking for a move up to the 315 area here, and taking out the 1 month highs, and then we'll have to see from there. But I'm just trading my signal. This is my signal that I use for trading, but I don't use this. I don't trade on the hourly with the signal, so that's why they're there. But I use this from a 5 minute standpoint, in case you're wondering why the hours were sitting in there. And then let's take a look at oil. Okay, I think oil has been consolidating across the range here. What's difficult to know is at this point we're going to go higher or lower, but stochastics are getting bedded down. I think it's going to try to take a stab down to here, and maybe even down to this low volume area, and then we'll have to wait and see. And this is I'm on the volatility side too, so I'm thinking that we have a move down into the high 49s area before we make a move higher. And we're going into the shoulder season for oil too, so that kind of ties in, and so we'll just have to see. But my expectation is to look for trades down versus trades up at this point. Okay, sliding over to Mr. Gold. Okay, they've been grinding gold, but very, very small sell-off in my view. And we're going into the Chinese Congress week. And this is typically a bullish time for gold, at least that next 5 days. So, nice little hammer here. This was the 20-day low. So there's the 1 month low on gold. And typically when you get these lows and highs, they're always good to trade to fade. And if you're wrong, you're wrong, but usually get a good bounce off of these moves. And I do that for the 5 minute. If I get a 5 day high or a 5 day low, I'll fade it and see if I can get a run out of it. And if it goes back up to a new high, you know, I set a stop and I'll do it again. So, and so we have, you know, this is just grinding, but I think this is a hammer here, and I'm looking for a move back to here and then back to here. And you know, the only way the government's going to stay and the stock market's going to stay up is that they just have to keep throwing more and more and more cash at it, and it's going to leak out into the commodity space. So let's take a look at silver. I think you'll find it pretty similar. Okay, went down a little bit more, but this is an area of interest right here for me, and I just think it also was pushed down. I'm looking for this week gold and silver to pop higher. So my theme for next week is market down, precious metals up. Let's slide over to the food world. Okay. I've had contracts on with gold, with corn. I went ahead and I closed my corn futures trade on Friday when it pierced this red area here, and I'll be looking for a re-entry, but it's been a nice trade for me, and long suffering trade. I definitely was at one point down about $1,000 on the trade, and then just added some sides every time it got oversold, and walked out of the trade with a nice profit. So right now this could break through and break higher. I have ETFs on ags, but at this point, from the future standpoint, I went ahead and when you hit that red line, it's just always a good idea to take the sale. Wheat, though, a little bit different, view. So I think it could hold here, but if you're interested in wheat, just you know, I'd be a buyer in this area here, 441 area. I don't think it's going to get there. I think this line may hold, but if you want to be conservative, this is an area that I would re-enter for wheat. Let's take a look at copper. So copper is interesting too, is that it looks like the Chinese are going to release their credit engine again, and usually the speculators usually bid copper and steel and all those commodities higher, but right now it looks like it may drift down to here, but I'm expecting a move higher. Tag this area here, maybe tag the top of this range here once we roll back up over the VWAP area here. But I don't really trade it too much. I have a buy on it for the copper ETF, more of a swing trade there, coming off of this bottom, and we'll just see if we get a move higher. So if the economic reports, quote unquote, the narrative is everything is hunky dory, copper should move higher. If not, then we should see more weakness in the market. So anyway, it's kind of my view on things. So for me personally, long metals and miners, and I'm long ag, but took that leverage off, and I'm long natural gas, and that's pretty much where I sit. And also, I have a short in on NASDAQ for next week. Guys, have a great one. I'll be back on some ETFs in a minute. Bye-bye.